You're on the air. Go ahead.
Yeah, hey, good afternoon, Alex. First of all, two things I want to cover real quick. First of all, about the Boy Scouts. I was in the Boy Scouts for years, and, I consider it no coincidence that now what you're bringing out about the Boy Scouts and, what you brought out about Hitler's youth brigades, that our beloved governor, Rick Perry, not long ago came out with a book promoting the Boy Scouts. So I don't consider that he was defending them against, like, the homosexuals who are trying to infiltrate them. But I see this as a deeper agenda where it's no coincidence that, just not too long ago he came out with this book. In other words, to give a positive spin on the Boy Scouts in the direction they're going now. You see what I'm getting at?
No, and again, the Boy Scouts admittedly were set up to train youth for military induction and for camping and preparation. They admit that, and that's fine and dandy. But what Hitler did in 1933 is they had the German Boy Scouts. That's,
right.
It was the Kinderfolk. And this is mainline history for those that don't know. And I appreciate your call. It's a fine point. I'm going to start getting into that in the next segment. And they took over the Boy Scouts, and at first had it just normal Boy Scouts, and then turned it into paramilitary training. And then they set up the Hitler Jugend out of that. And just a few years later, those 12, 13, 14, 15-year-olds in 1933, by 1941, 42, with the war raging, they were now 20, 21, 22 years old and were fully indoctrinated. And that's what this is all about. And that is what is happening here. Torture, secret arrest, youth brigades. But ladies and gentlemen, it's not just that. We now know what the global uniform is for these youth. And Barack Obama has released a Secure Corps video with them doing military drills. Ladies and gentlemen, this is off the charts. It's up on Infowars.com. You can see it right now. We're going to play the audio coming up in the next segment when I detail all of this. Don't forget, my websites are Infowars.com, PrisonPlanet.com, PrisonPlanet.tv. PrisonPlanet.tv is our member site. And it's 5 years up and running, all of my films. And then, of course, we simulcast with my live TV show during the /radio show during the weekday transmission. And my book, Paul Watson's book, a bunch of other films are posted there at PrisonPlanet.tv, and your PrisonPlanet.tv membership also makes much of what we do here in my media organization possible. So I want to thank all the PrisonPlanet.tv members out there. Also, I'm going to start every month churning out DVDs that are more presentations, not films. I'm going to try to make 3 films a year instead of 2 films a year. And every month or two, I'll probably stagger it, I'd say every 5-6 weeks on average, a presentation. And one of those is the Aaron Russo interview I did shortly before he died in 2007, the last videotaped interview that we know of that's out there. Most of it's on the web for free. We put it out. But this is an updated version with some commentary by myself with the latest developments and some of the interview that we didn't put out on the Internet. That is now available on DVD at Infowars.com, and everybody's library needs to have it. Also, every month we're going to have a best of from the TV show we do while we simulcast the radio show with the ads cut out and any extra stuff cut out, shot in high def, burned to one high-quality DVD. This month's has Alan Watt, police chief in Austin, Art Acevedo, of course, the UFC host and movie star and TV host in his own right, Joe Rogan. It's got folks in it like Mr. David Icke, and a lot more. So the first month of that is now out. I'm going to have a best of every month. We call it the DVD Arsenal, also available there at the online video and bookstore at Infowars.com. Okay, let me just stop right there and get focused. I tend to psychologically shy away from getting into this because it's such a upsetting subject and so real. I want to start out with the audio of the 1-minute government-paid-for video that we have up on Infowars.com. This is Americorps paramilitary propaganda ad. And when you watch this ad and you study it, it's absolutely horrifying. When you have the background knowledge of what you're witnessing, it's even more horrifying. But anybody can watch this and say, what is this, straight out of Soviet Russia or Communist China? I would say it's more akin to Communist China or Cuba, Communist Cuba. Now, this uniform they're wearing, I saw different bills. Bill Clinton got passed to start this in 1997. I talked about it in my film Police State 2000 in 1998, 99. But in some of the legislation they've passed, it says gray uniforms, and we have seen those. And that's going to be for more of the paramilitaries, more of the cream of the youth corps. Then the next category are going to wear red jackets with khaki shirts and khaki pants that looks like something out of a science fiction dystopia. And I know this because in the U.S., we first learned of this about 7-8 years ago. In England, we learned of this 2 years ago. They're also doing it in Japan, in Germany, in the Netherlands, in Ireland. And they're doing it with the Boy Scouts overseas, the Boy Scouts here. They're doing it with Secure Corps, division of Americorps. They're doing it with public school children, putting them in uniforms, but only, on the weekends when they take part in federally funded under BATF, FBI grants, you name it. And so when I saw this video this morning put out by the federal government with taxpayer money, it shows them doing push-ups and squat thrust and, basic military maneuvers out in a military training field with officers in front of them in their new fascist uniforms with arm patches, armbands. I mean, it doesn't get any worse than this. And it horrified me because I keep seeing this same uniform pop up worldwide. This is global. So, ladies and gentlemen, here is the audio of the video.
We will stop.
I am change. I've been around since the beginning of time.
Ask not what your country can do for you.
Over the years, I've had many faces. Over the years, I've had many looks.
I have a dream.
But I've always had the same goals. To make this world a better place by helping those who need it most. To never turn my back when things get tough. And to show that positive can always overpower negative.
That's enough. I can't listen to any more of it. Yeah, positive. That means I don't think, I'm just positive and follow orders. And they show pictures of Martin Luther King and Gandhi. Martin Luther King and Gandhi would have fought against what's happening right now. You better believe it. So this is almost like if the Nazis rolled themselves in happy, lovey, liberal packaging. But when you study what the actual training is, it's to spy on neighbors. It's to have a national security force as big and strong as our military. And then you read specifically what the White House says. It's going to be compulsory at military camps. Rahm Emanuel's on record. It's been at change.gov. But they're in uniforms, chanting and marching and with flags and out there drilling. I mean, it's a field marshal basically running it. All of this going on, and this is just the public face of it to sell the population. When you get down to the nitty-gritty, it's what the New York Times reported on. But again, they reported it with a positive light as well, with showing big color photos of 14 to 17-year-old Cub Scouts, Boy Scouts, marching around with MP5 submachine guns, practicing, quote, taking on U.S. veterans. And then you see all the mainstream articles over the last few years about how they're training every local department in the country, the feds are, to prepare for improvised explosive devices. And they're telling local police, harden your local facilities, get ready for terrorism. The number one threat is in Al-Qaeda now. It's former military people and gun owners. And the DHS report says that. And libertarians and don't tread on me people and folks that won't turn their guns in. And then you find out that under Secure Corps, and I first saw this 7 years ago in the Philadelphia Daily News, it said a division of Americorps that you just heard the ad from, with them out marching around in red uniforms. What is this, Mortal Kombat or something? And they're almost dressed like the bad guy from Mortal Kombat. I mean, this is really good. These are actual commie outfits. I mean, talk about, this is unbelievable. I mean, you might as well wear like leather jackets and leather ball caps or something. I mean, it's just out of control. Armbands, the whole 9 yards. And the young, stupid kids love this, folks. They love playing with guns. They love being able to march around and drill. They love being made to feel important. And so they're now